So let's get into this, right? I want to talk about tournament nerves. You don't know much about me. I'm a competitive, currently fighting game player, mainly Street Fighter competitive player. I play in competitions, tournaments. I travel across the world. I compete at the highest level for the game. Soon to be Tekken as well. But I want to talk about tournament nerves because I teach the game too. I teach people how to improve. And one of the main things they ask is, I know I'm good at the game, but when I play in tournaments, I can't perform. I get nervous. My hands get shaky. I'm not how I usually am. I'm not optimal.
Hands are cold.
So yes, I wanted to bring this topic to the podcast because it's very it's something that happens a lot.
To
It
everyone.
happens very often. Yeah, it happens to everyone, even the top players.
100%.
And yeah, so I want to talk about how it actually affects people, how tournament nerves affects people. So the first thing I want to mention is it affects everyone. So it's not something, if you have tournament nerves, if you're one of those people out there that has tournament nerves when you try to compete, you're not the only person who gets nervous in those situations. The majority of the time, the other person you're playing is also feeling nerves. What changes is what you do to deal with it. Some people deal with nerves better because they've practiced how to deal with nerves. There's different things that work for different people in those situations. Have you ever been nervous in tournaments before?
Oh yeah, 100%. When I played, I think it was Tekken. It was the ICFC for the first time, and it was on PC and stuff. It was very. I was nerve wracked. I can't lie. That didn't even make sense. I was very nervous. Like my hands were shaking. I was worrying. Oh, what if they're gonna be good? What if I lose first round? What if I get knocked out? What if I get no round brown? I was scared. But I think it's what makes it more nerve wracking is that obviously because if you're new to something as well and it's your first time experience, you're thinking the absolute worst, and really and truly, it's not as bad as you think it is. And then you think of all these elements, and when you start to deep, oh, am I ready for this match? Am I ready for that matchup? Oh, does my character win this? Oh, am I gonna be able to execute? And then if you see a famous name in that FGC department, it becomes even more scary. But I think it gets really tough. That happened to me when I fought against K Wiz. I was like, oh no.
What tournament was that?
To be fair, that was the Tekken 8. I don't know if you remember, it's an EGX. They had a Tekken 8 thing there for like
they had the stations to play on there.
Yeah. So they had a tournament, and I signed in. I came in late. I signed up. I was like, all right, cool. Let me see who I'm gonna fight. Yeah. When the announcer said, can KD Wills and K Wiz stand up to the stand, I was like, oh my
Game
God.
one as well.
Game one. And it's single elimination. So I was like, I'm done. I'm finished. My main's not in the game anymore. Mine was Negan, by the way. My main's not in the game. So I had to go to Lars. And he's the best Horang in the UK, flat out. So it was like, even my friends are like, bro, Sophie, I can't lie. But good luck. But I was nervous there, but at the same time, I think you just have to be happy or enjoy. I don't know.
What I'm saying. Nerves is hard because it depends what you're at the tournament for. Because not everybody's at the tournament to win the tournament. Some people go to tournaments just because they want to know how it feels to compete. Some people go to tournaments because they want experience. And then there's people that go to tournaments because they actually want to win. Some people go for fun, but there's people that want to go to actually win. I think that unless you're someone who wants to go to actually win the whole tournament, you definitely should not feel as nervous as 100%. You do, because the whole point of being there is to get experience or to have fun or to try and improve. So you losing doesn't crush your dream in any way, shape, or form. It's just more game.
Unless you paid money for that tournament. No, I'm joking.
Unless you paid money for the tournament. I mean, fair enough, but if you spend money for the tournament knowing you're not going to win, then it's just
true. Yeah,
at least you're going for the experience for a nice time.
That's true.
If you're going to win the tournament, that's a completely different ball game. I understand everyone that gets nervous, but what I want to talk about here is how do you actually deal with nerves? How do you deal with nerves?
Me?
When you're nervous, how do you do, or have you found a way to deal with it?
Well, it's a bit weird because sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. But I guess I guess one thing you should do when you're in this situation is to relax, try to breathe, and try to like assess what's happening right now. Because at this moment in time, in that situation, there's nothing that you can control besides yourself. So if you're in a tournament game and you're nervous, just remember that the other person might be nervous and that you can't control how they play. You can only control how you play. So if you stay composed, keep calm, it should ease your nerves down. Plus, one thing I have realized as well is that don't take it seriously. Like, I know, like, the more serious you take something, the more likely you are to be nervous. And sometimes being nervous is a good thing because at least it knows that you're rational, like you're fearful what could happen. But like, if you go into a tournament knowing that you might not win or that you just want to do what you can, you might do better than you expected. Because I had this experience when we went to was it Meltdown, the last Tekken tournament? I think it's MSG, was it? The MSG Tekken tournament.
Avatar State Gaming tournament.
Yeah, Avatar. Yeah, that's ASG. Yeah. Literally, I went to that tournament. I remember Phil suggested it to me. I went to the tournament with Phil's, and obviously, I hadn't played Tekken 7 for at least a month, whatever long, because I'm the Street Fighter and all the other stuff. So when I came into that tournament, I was like, all right, whatever happens, happens. And that's not the mentality you should have because you can't control anything. And surprisingly enough, I've went the furthest I've ever gone in the tournament before. I got to lose the semis, I believe, lose the semis, and I did all right. And I hadn't played the game for so long. So imagine if I had been playing the game, I might have done even better. But sometimes, you just choose to believe in yourself and like don't worry too much about what could happen. You might end up doing better than you expected because, when you need to lock in, you're locked in the situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I think some people put too much expectations on themselves, which can lead to extra pressure. And extra pressure leads to more nerves when you're actually playing most of the time. Because then if you happen to lose at a stage where you thought you would do better than, that loss will crush you even more because you expected so much better from yourself. It's okay to have some expectations, depending on what those expectations are. You don't want to overdo it to the point where every time you lose it and you're like, oh, I didn't win, so I feel horrible about myself. Because then the next tournament, you're going to set your expectations even higher. And then if it doesn't go your way, then you're going to be crushed again. You have to have a positive mindset when you go into these games for competition, because especially in fighting games, there's only one winner. Everybody else, all the hundreds of other people that go, lost. Only one person wins. If it's a team game, you're playing as a team, so everyone else factors in, not just you. So you definitely have to think about it in a different way when you get nervous. But I want to say the way I've seen people deal with tournament nerves, what helps me deal with tournament nerves personally is I just tell myself my opponent is also nervous. If I feel nerves, I know that I can't be the only one feeling nervous if this is an important tournament. My opponent is also feeling nerves. So I know that it's going to come down to who can keep composed, who can keep more composed. That's how I like to think about it. And when I think about it that way, I just say, okay, just play my game. If I don't win, I just wasn't playing good enough or it just wasn't my day. But if I let these nerves take over, there's 0% chance I'm going to win. But I will feel worse. I will feel way worse losing, having to get on the flight back home and sitting on that flight thinking I didn't even get to play my game because I was just nervous. I've lost that way before so many times. And it's horrible. I prefer losing knowing I got to play my game. I just didn't win.
Did your hardest,
Exactly. Because you can learn from that. You can go back and lab and actually be like, okay, I need to improve in this part of my game, this part of my game. If you lose because you're nervous, you can't learn anything apart from control your nerves. You don't even know if you was good enough to win at that point.
Yeah.
All you know is that you just couldn't play. So that's how I like to think about it.
That's true, because when you're nervous, you're kind of stiff when you're playing. Like your hands feel like they're cold or they're jittering so much that you might end up dropping a combo that could have saved you the game. Like there's so much different things that can happen when you're nervous. When you're nervous, you overthink things that tend to be simple. Like the guy whiffed, and you thought, okay, maybe I should just stay here instead of taking advantage. Like sometimes you start playing differently than what you'd usually play in like mentality as well. So I understand that fully. But
it's crazy.
When it comes to like, because I know like when you play in tournaments, and you play in a team game, I know you do the Street Fighter League. So I was wondering, is the nerves any different in that situation because you have a team next to you now instead of like, just being you independently? Is the nerves even worse? Is it bigger? Like, is the expectation harder? Sorry,
I
bigger.
can't lie. It's you get so much more nervous in a team event than a solo event. If I go to a tournament solo by myself, it's just me. If I lose, it's just me. It's just my emotions, my feelings. It's just me.
Yeah.
In a team event, if you sell, like not even sell, if you lose as a team, no, you can be playing amazing, but if you lose as a team,
yeah,
it's the whole team that's lost.
Morale,
especially if you know those people on your team, because you probably talk outside of the competition. It's like, okay, you know how much winning means to this person. You know how much winning means to this person. So these losses and wins, the emotion is way higher. It's way greater than when it's just you by yourself. Because one, you're happy you've won or you're happy you've lost. And two, your entire team also has those same feelings and emotions. So it's crazy. It's like you yourself, but then amplified times however many people's on the squad.
Yeah, that is hard. It's kind of like an Overwatch game or
wild.
something like that. Yeah, so when you mess up, and I know with the Street Fighter League, like they can commentate, they can talk to you right there and then as well, right? Like they can commentate to you as well, how it works, something like that as well. So
they talk like over your shoulder, or you take a break between matches and you can coach each other a little bit.
Do you feel like the environment's better though for tournament nerves in that case? Because you've got people who are cheering you on, as opposed to solo. When you're playing solo in a tournament, no one's there to really cheer you unless you bought your boy or whoever.
I mean, the environment. The environment it's a good environment, but I think that as a competitor, you don't always want to be competing with teammates also. Because when it's like that, you can't really experiment as much. You have to sort of go with what works. You can't really do risky things that you might want to try out by yourself in a tournament. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm learning a new character, and I want to test it out in this tournament. If it was a team event, I'd be like, okay, I'm not doing that. I'm sticking to what I know works because I'm not going to put the team on the line. But when it's myself, I can take those type of risks.
But as a
and
team,
another thing, and another thing is, it's a better atmosphere if you're friends with your teammates. You might not always be friends with your teammates.
That's true.
They might just be associates that you work with, but they may not necessarily be your actual friends also.
That's another thing I want to ask actually. Would it be harder in terms of nerves if you don't know anyone on your team as opposed to knowing people on your team? Or do you find the opposite harder? Like nerves? Like
that's a good question. I think it's more nerves if you do know the people on your team.
Really?
Yeah, because you'd want to win more for them, right?
That's true.
For yourself and them. When you don't know the people, let's say you have a team of people you just don't care about.
Yeah.
Like you will lose, and like the communication won't really be the same.
I hear it.
Because you don't care about seeing this person shine. You don't care too much about seeing this person shine. You don't care about seeing You're just playing for yourself alongside these people. But when you're a team of people that like each other, then it's like, okay, we actually all really want this for each other as well.
Okay. Oh, so you're saying it kind of like changes, like the motivation.
Yeah, the motivation definitely changes. Yeah.
Okay. When you're like, you have someone that you're generally not friends with, anyone like that. You're just playing with. Yeah. As opposed to if you have teammates. Okay. I thought it'd be more nerve-wracking well, I think me personally, I thought it'd be more nerve-wracking if you had people that you didn't know. Because like, and I guess like if you don't know them and they just start chatting rubbish in your ear or saying this and saying that, and you have the expectation, and you know that at some point they're gonna start going on Twitter and be like, "Yo, this guy was garbage. No one's on my team."
I mean, it depends because it's like, okay, it depends. I'll tell you where it would be more nerve-wracking when it would be a team of people you don't like, you're not like friends with. You're not enemies with them, but you're just not actually friends.
Like associates, yeah.
Yeah, just associates. So I would say, let's say that team that you're on, you're a new player on that team. That team has been here before and they're champions.
Okay.
So now they're champions and you're coming into their team as a new guy. Right? Yeah. Then expectations, they're going to have certain expectations of based on being accepted onto the team.
Yeah.
So then by default, there's gonna be more pressure on you because you're like, damn, these guys are champions. I've come in now. I'm the new guy. I need to perform to show that I can be on that level.
Yeah.
So then, in that situation, I would say there's a lot more pressure.
Yeah, that's true actually, because you're already on a winning team, and if you're not winning, you're the outlier. So then
exactly.
It just shows more. I think that's even worse for your tournament now, because then you're right. Because then
it's bad. Yeah, it's like really bad.
And then for everyone watching, if it's a live event, they're all gonna know you're the one that's selling compared to everybody else. It's you.
Exactly.
So it'll
be hard for you to defend yourself as well. You won't be able to defend yourself. Like, what are you gonna say if you didn't perform? These guys are champions without you, and then you join and you lose, and it's like, well,
that's true. But do you? Okay, one last thing. Do you like when you get tournament nerves? Do they increase when you're fighting notable players? Because I know you usually fight a lot of players now, but let's say you fighting like because I know in like let's say Game Is It, you did fight Daigo.
Yeah.
So like, were your nerves up when you realized you were fighting one of the more acclaimed people in the FGC, or was it kind of like the same old, just another person to you?
I think at the beginning of like my career, yes. But as you play against more notable players and you beat more notable players and you lose to more notable players, you kind of get used to it.
Okay.
You kind of get used to it. Like you definitely do get used to it. Like I don't think that right now, I don't think there would be any player that I could play against and be like, oh, I'm playing against this person. I feel more nervous now because it's this person. Okay. I'll know if it's going to be more harder, if it's going to be harder or more difficult to win. But the nerves levels won't be that. The nerve levels will get higher if it's a really important tournament. If it's a grand finals or something like that. But the person I'm playing against specifically doesn't matter too much. I have to get ready for it regardless. I'll tell you what's crazy. I think a lot of professional players get more nervous when they're playing against people who they should be beating. If you know you should be beating this person, and all of a sudden you're like a game down plus a round. That's when you should be feeling nervous. That's when you got to look in. That's a mad feeling.
Especially when you know you should not be
losing. Yeah, when it's someone random, you should not be losing to this person. Yeah. And you're in tournament and they're cooking you. Boy.
You're a meme for a week as well. Right. At least for a whole week. That clip was getting spread everywhere on every Twitter and FGC.
That's long. That's a long day. But in terms of how people deal with these tournament nerves, I've seen people listen to music. I like listening to music.
That's a good point, actually.
Before the tournament. Or before my game, like probably like 30 minutes before my game. I like listening to music and being by myself. I don't want to talk to no one. I don't do anything. I'll be by myself. I'll listen to music. This is if it's a big tournament that I know is really important to me and all of that. I'll be by myself, sitting on a chair somewhere, listen to my music, and I'll just be chilling.
I see.
Like, I've had a lot of people come up to me and be like, "Are you okay? You're right." I'm fine. I'm not sad or anything. I'm just trying to get in the zone. Like, I'm listening to music, trying to get in the zone. So when I take these off and I go and play, I have a clear head. That's it. I like doing that a lot.
This man looks like Jiren when he was meditating in Dragon Ball Super, bro.
Yo. But it's true. You actually have to do these things because it's actually, it depends what works for you. Like I have a friend, obviously I won't say his name. I don't know what to say, but he struggles a lot with tournament nerves.
Okay.
Right? Like a lot. And we speak about it all the time. Yeah. When you play this guy when he's 100%, whether it's in casuals or online or whatever, he's amazing. But in a tournament, he's pretty much never played 100% in pretty much all the tournaments I've seen him playing. Because he gets nervous. He does well. He might get a second place, a top 8, or even second places. But when he watches it back, he's like, bro, I didn't even play my best. Because he's always getting nervous. And he told me that what ended up helping him, like recently, he'd go for like a run in the morning. He'll go for a run.
That's true.
And then he'll go for a run in the morning, and then that kind of sets him for the day. Like when you go to tournament, he's fine. And I don't know, it depends. Different things work for different people. Me, it's music.
I guess that does make sense though, because like a healthy body, healthy mind. If you're more confident in your body, I guess you're more confident in yourself, so then you can control yourself better. I guess that does make sense. A jog in the morning would be, but that's insane though. You said he gets nervous and he doesn't do his best in tournaments. So I thought you were gonna say he wasn't getting top 16 or top 10. You said he was getting top 2 and all
Yeah,
that
he'd
stuff.
even
He's
get top
quite
2
big
and stuff.
nervous. So
Yeah.
imagine if he's not nervous at all. Oh
That's
my
what
God.
I'm saying. It stops, and that's a lot of players, even to a smaller degree. Even players who are playing their game and they're grinding ranked, trying to grind their leaderboards for their game, right? And they're not finding that consistency because they get nervous when they're playing. It's like you could find that consistency if you just wasn't as nervous, or if you had ways to deal with your nerves.
Your nerves.
Yeah.
Quick question though.
Sure.
Is that tournament nerves ever fade away no matter how experienced you are? Because you're quite experienced, but do they ever fade away, or are they something that will always stay with you no matter what tournament you do?
You know that's funny, because that's literally something I had in my notes as well.
Oh, so
I had that same thing in my notes. But I have the answer to it though, because
Let's hear it,
I don't. Oh, if you lot don't know about the show, when we have our notes, he has his topics, I have my topics, and we don't show it to each other. So when we talk about when we bring up topics, I don't know what he's gonna bring up, and he doesn't know what I'm gonna bring up.
Completely blind.
Just so blind. So just so you don't know. But I think that tournament nerves never go away. That's a fact. It never goes away. It never goes away. It just depends on it's not every tournament. You're not going to be nervous at every tournament. It depends on the caliber of the tournament.
Okay.
That's
the caliber.
Yeah. So if it's a big tournament with a huge prize pot, everybody is going to feel nerves. Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
But if it's not like a huge prize pool and it's just like a free tournament that everyone jumps into and just plays.
Yeah, no, it's not really. If I go to a local tournament, like a local event, I'm not nervous.
Just gonna play. Okay, yeah.
I'm not nervous. Like any event we've been to together, where we've gone to, I wasn't nervous. Any of them.
That's fair, yeah.
Any local event, and no, I wasn't nervous.
Even that one you won in the whole event when Hurricane was there as well. Street Fighter 5. I think I remember King J was there.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous on that.
You came first. That's crazy.
I wasn't nervous at all on that.
He won the whole tournament for that, Check his IG. Literally, he has it there. But yeah, that's
okay. Well, you're trying to gas me up, bro. You're trying to gas me up.
He said he wasn't nervous and he just bagged it like it was nothing, bro. I was like, "What?"
I definitely wasn't. I'll tell you, the only time I've been nervous for events recently has been if I've flown out to the event. I took a whole plane trip, all of that, stayed multiple days, played. Then I might get nervous because I'm like, bro, I traveled all this way.
Yeah.
Like, if I lose this match, I gotta get on the flight back. Those type of events, I can be nervous. But even then, it still depends. Like, if there's not that much money on the line, the nerves levels is not as much. But Gamers 8, for example, I was at Gamers 8.
Oof.
I was 100% nervous at Gamers 8.
You had to be. You had like the best names.
I was definitely, I was nervous at Gamers 8 in general. Like in general, like not because it was a specific person I was playing or anything, but just being there and knowing like the amount of money that's on the line, I was nervous like every game.
No, I don't blame you with all of that. Yeah, especially because you know that if you don't get this far, you only get this much, and and I can understand that, especially because there's a lot of people and there's a lot of more the prestigious names looking like the blue look at starting 11. It looked kind of like it looked very stacked tournament. Problem X, like that's an Evo winner, like an Evo winner. You had Endon Walker, you had Daigo, you had can't remember his name, the one that won the tournament. Takanori, there we go.
Oh, you're talking about Kakeru. You're talking about Kakeru.
So Kakeru, Kakeru, Angry Bird, Big Birds. Like you had a ton of like Street Fighter veterans on there. So
and it wasn't even everybody, but it was a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of people, but like everyone that was at the tournament was known, and that's the thing. So I guess that would add pressure to a situation like that, especially because you got flying out. Do you know how good you have to be to get flying out and to get chosen, guys? Do you know how much that is? Do you know how crazy that is?
Well, I mean, it's hard work.
Mr. Hollywood,
hard work. Me, Hollywood, never. That's you.
That can't be me. I'll tell you that.
But I do want to conclude that point, like, because everything we just talked about. Well, first of all, nerves never go away. That was the main point. Nerves, it never goes away, but you can decrease how nervous you get in certain situations using different methods. whatever works for you. But the nerves itself won't go away. You're still gonna feel it. You're still gonna get adrenaline from it. You're still gonna be there, and I think it's a good thing because adrenaline's quite good when you're playing. Like when you're competing in games.
It can fuel you, yeah. It can fuel you up and make you do stuff that you wouldn't be able to react to if
you're more alert. Exactly.
That's very true. It can increase your reactions.
Exactly as well. Yeah. But what I want to conclude with is all of those things, nerves and stuff, can lead to self-doubt, which is what you don't want to. You don't want it to get to that point. You want to stop the nerves and calm it down before it leads to self-doubt, because a lot of people, because of how nervous they get and they never get the results that they want to be getting, they end up giving up because of self-doubt. They start doubting their ability to actually perform.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they've not like trained themselves or found a way to calm their nerves and their mindset. So you definitely don't want to get to that point to where you have self-doubt on like how you perform. 100%. That's just what I want to say about it.
Especially when there's a lot of variables in when you go compete in the tournament. Your matchup you're fighting against, your mentality as a whole, the player you are fighting. Yeah, there's a lot of elements that come into that. Even the monitors or the controllers, like that happens too.
Like I've had so many teaching, like coaching lessons where I'm coaching the person, right? And I'm like, we're watching replays of how they play the game. I'm coaching them, and they're like, I see something wrong. And I'm like, oh, why did you do this there? You should have done this. And they're like, oh, I know that was the wrong thing to do. I know I should have done this. And they're like, oh, I was just nervous. So I reacted the wrong way because I was nervous. I'm like, that is so many people now. A lot of people do the wrong things based on them being nervous.
Yeah, and nerves can just exist everywhere. It's not even just in tournaments, as from what you said. It can be online ranked.
It's not even just tournaments.
Yeah. It's insane. But I guess just to reiterate, guys, remember there's more than one way to stop feeling nervous or to ease your tournament nerves. Some nerves are good for tournaments, but to ease them down, you can either listen to music, you can exercise. That might help just in life in general, make your mindset better. Other stuff Phil said, don't take it seriously as well. Just say whatever happens. That can help too. And never let it go to self-doubt.
Yeah, for real. Self-doubt that's not good, because once you start thinking you're actually not good enough, then you just give up on something you actually really wanted. You give up on a dream that you actually really wanted, based on not knowing why you wasn't performing well in the first place. But yeah, that's my first topic. I just wanted to talk about real quick.
Okay, cool.
Ban self-doubt, man. Forget that.
Yeah, self-doubt is insane. I can't lie to you.